Hi, I think I have 10 minutes. We'll blast through this. Please ask me questions. Please volunteer. I'm looking for volunteers for the website and for the QAQC activity. So I'm Phil Harbidge, work for Sperry Sun, again, work for SLB, Baker, Pass Control, a few other companies in between. 27 years thinking about all of this stuff. How do we make it safer, better, faster, more reliable? QAQC we'll have an update today, and just a brief update on what's changed on the website. Actually made some progress and fixed some of the things, implemented some of the functionality. So we'll just blast through that. So, okay, just an example of what AI can do. We talked about AI quite a lot yesterday. It's coming, we think. Is it safe? Gave a nice little logo of a scooter when it came up to collision avoidance. So I thought that was appropriate. Maybe not a great demonstration of how it understands what that actually means. But yeah, we'll just have a brief update on the ebook. There's an ongoing project, I guess, since Macondo. There has been an industry wake up to write a recommended practice so that the industry is safer, you know, in general, and we're still working on that, and it's slowly getting there. So the API RP78, Jonathan's looking for volunteers to go in and basically approve or write comments or close out comments on that document. But we have a bigger version of that documentation. We've got, you know, tens of pages of chapters, I guess. We've got 5 different chapters, and we are converting that into an ebook, and we are close. But over the next couple of months before the end of the summer, we should have gone through all of those chapters, had them tech writer have a look at them, turn them into something that's a bit more formal. And it's not going to be a standard. It's going to be a recommended guide. So it's going to be referred to by the API RP78, as long as we get something finished that it can refer to. So there's a bit of pressure to do that. There's been an official request to have something which is a bit more descriptive of how to comply with the recommended practice, the API RP78. Anyway, so collision avoidance, we had a workshop in the QAQC session. So again, automation, AI, let's say, maybe not the I, but automation is coming. So we had a look at an example of that. Came up with split up into groups. So we have a bunch of good feedback from the industry, manufacturers, service companies, operators, consultants. So we did the same. We had a presentation on automation of survey data and what automation can bring us, basically, what it can't. So we have some good feedback. Spent a lot of time on that yesterday. And of course, there's a bunch of bugbear projects, I guess, for me, which I haven't dropped, but they're still hanging there. Yeah, so the online meetings, this is quite an aggressive every couple of weeks. There's an API RP78 meeting on a Friday, and then the following week, it'll be the Wednesday for me. And then I'll send this out. I think I sent it out already to the QAQC subcommittee people. If anybody from another subcommittee wants to join, or anyone at all, please write me an email and I'll put you on the list. So yeah, I've been talking about this for 2 years. Haven't made a whole lot of progress other than getting Halliburton to commit to getting tech writer services support. So they're waiting for these chapters. A little bit to do on the introduction of the depth. So, you know, very small things, not much to add, I don't think. But we'll go through the API RP78 as well. That's changed a little bit. Make sure that they are at least covering everything in that. Yeah, other bugbear projects. yeah, again, automation of a collision avoidance system. We looked at all of that, the people factor, the technology, excuse me, the communication, how we get the one person who's responsible for the region, and how they look at, 400 emails and texts every hour, that sort of thing. When you can do things on volume, computers work faster, you can have many more automated systems running in the background. So yeah, we'll compile all that feedback and then kind of present it and work that into maybe another chapter into the ebook. Rotation surveys, talked about it in depth, the dynamic surveys or rotation surveys. The error model is nearly there. I think there is a good opportunity to try and nail down the operating environment when that model applies. So a bit of work for Mark and myself and the groups to come up with something that's reliable, makes sense. We do have, another sort of appendix of minimum directional survey data needed. So that relates to the workshops we were doing yesterday for anti-collision and for just a big, large database, any database. Another thing which I haven't started yet is the multi-station analysis workshop. When is it reliable? Which zone? Referring back to, I guess, the minimum requirements for MSA analysis. Be good to open that up, and it kind of goes through a lot of loops, and then it ends up, says just apply geometry interference correction, single station. And sometimes that's not good enough. Yeah. So maybe we need to have a look at that again, make something a bit more sort of descriptive and applicable for cases where that can't be done. So the gross errors, another project as well. So another sort of subchapter. We did have a session on this, so we have some thoughts, but I need to add that to the agenda. So maybe we'll just keep carrying on every month after we finish the ebook. We'll try and tick these off. And you can bring in a new project if you want. And if we get consensus that it's more important, we'll start on that. Otherwise, we'll just go through basically this sort of MO. And yeah, dual link, overlapping surveys, continuous rotation surveys, all slightly different modes of deployment and environment that maybe we need to have a look at the error models and how we formally verify overlap, have redundancy, how we use that in line with QC as well. So just trying to map it to the error model. And another project as well, QGIS, Kornoi. We have another project just to have an industry example, a workbook, an Excel that any software could just produce a template, and then you fill in some data and you give you some advice on SAG, your instability zone from multi-station analysis, geostring interference, anything you want, estimated geostring interference related to your survey program. So it'd just be good to have it, make it easy. So we could either have that in software and or just export a template, as I say, and anybody could use it then. Some basic information. And I think we have approval that we can use an existing one that Shell used and Halliburton have used. Yeah, so it's Kornoi, not QGIS. I've been talking to them both about it. So yeah, summing up the ebook paragraphs, lots of online meetings to get that all finished. Any feedback, anything else, let us know. Thank you very much to everybody that contributed to all of the work we've done so far. I think IP magnetics are missing. I'll add them to the list before I publish these. Thanks very much. That's all for me. And the Webmaster. Yeah, sorry. Oh, that's me as well. Yeah. We've had a lot of discussions with getting things fixed, and Yorgi has been fantastic, actually. So respect to him. He's quite a bit more knowledgeable, probably age-related. He's very good at getting into the back end of the setup and so on. So it's been very good. Just a brief on the, we have membership on our website. It's a bit tricky. Even people that are members and then they try and register to meetings, it's caught quite a few people out. Yon Bang, hopefully he's online, but he couldn't get in. Difficult to change your email once you're in, I think. And if you haven't registered before if you haven't joined the group before you register for a meeting, then it basically locks you out. So just if anybody wants to come as new, just tell them to join first. And there's a join button on the top of the website. So we've got quite a bit of activity. The reason why we have a website is to jump out of the SPE sort of domain and allow everybody outside of the SPE, even if they don't pay for membership. Quite controversial. Other subcommittees and work groups are looking at our sort of model, and they quite like the idea of not constricting what they do and making it a bit more public. Of course, your publications, they still have to be copyrighted. Not sure if that's a great thing either, really, but basically everything we do, we post it on our website. We post it on the SPE.org website. We're called the Wellbore Positioning Technical Section. However, we're most commonly known as the Industry Steering Committee on Wellbore Survey Accuracy. And we pay for our own website. We put everything on there. And we have a lot of activity. So yeah, 4,500 hits, 1,201 interested parties clicking on the link for the meeting. Not everybody can make it, obviously, but there is some interest. I don't think it's all chatbots and spam activity. I think there is genuinely quite a bit of interest, even if they don't attend online or in person. So I guess it is working. And yeah, the course and the previous meetings, they also get a good rating of clicks. These are all numbers in the last 30 days. So it's pretty healthy. As I mentioned, the work that Yorgi's been doing, we don't really want to have our personal emails on the site. On the SPE.org site, I guess it's a bit more controlled, but we've taken off our personal emails. So we've made a sort of, if you send an email to the subcommittee link on the webpage, now you can directly contact the subcommittee chair. So that's pretty good. And that's brand new, in the last month or so. And that relates to the registration and for the meeting, but joining the group as well, you can then select which subcommittee chair groups you want to be part of. And then that's the next sort of phase. Then we'll be able to send out emails for the group from the chairs. So it's a bit easier to manage admin-wise. We have a bunch of files on the website. Darren Ackelstad is losing his patience, I would say, and most of the other people that try and find anything on the website. Here's a picture. There's a bunch of files with all useful information. You try and search for that in the website, it will come up with pretty much a blank, nothing found. So we are working on that. Darren's managed to index every file. It's like 770 files, and he's extracted the keywords. And Yorgi and I will somehow work on that to make it a searchable file. So the search function works. And it should help also if somebody searches on a browser, they'll find directly to the site. And that's the intention. So that's good. Still not fixed yet, Darren. Yeah, a bit of a discussion with the board about whether or not we want to peer review 770 documents. And I say no. There's a couple of people shaking their heads, but yeah, it's a good point. Is it peer reviewed? There's a bunch of information on that website, and it's really good, all the documents. And if you specifically link to some of the ebooks, for example, AI can look at it and it comes up with a pretty good summary of what was written. Doesn't make up too much rubbish. So yeah, I guess it is quite a powerful thing. Once that searchability is switched on, it'll be even better. Yeah, so voting functionality, that's another thing that's coming on. So we can vote about the agenda, the where we're going to meet, and then we can open it up to the subcommittees and then open it up to everybody. Yeah, thanks, Darren, and Yogi will get all that working. And we had a good discussion from Keith Rickey explaining, now I get it, the ODSU, the GitHub. Maybe we use that just as a dumping zone, that all the files on the website are then held on the GitHub. They're on my Dropbox, and I've emailed people before I leave a company, typically dump them a massive zip file. Here's what we have. So there's copies of what we have on the website, but if that's gone, we're in trouble. So we go for the GitHub, I think, and turn that into something where it's more structured, like HTML links, basically. So you can search and find stuff on the GitHub. That's working in line with some work we're doing with the ODSU. I think Dynamic Graphics are doing a lot of meetings and making sure that we take ownership of some of that industry formalization on error models, standard formats, and probably the collision avoidance as well. So somehow we'll get the website to open up all of that. It's all public domain once it's on the GitHub. Yeah, if you want to join the Wellbore positioning technical section, if you want to join it on the ISC WSA webpage, click this link. I'll share these slides, so this should work. The link should work as a PDF. But you do need to click about another five clicks to dig down into the technical sections. Right at the bottom, or second to last, I think it is, Wellbore positioning. And then there's another click, and then another click, and then you can finally join. And that just means you're on the SBE members list. Typically, we use another list, but yes, technically, European data protection, we need to be careful how we control that distribution list. So we do have some formal text on when you join the iscwsa.net site. So there's 2 sites to join. Then we do ask that question, and we manage it in accordance with the European regulations. LinkedIn. We do have an owner of LinkedIn who is a past member, still a member, I guess. We're working on trying to just change that LinkedIn account from a group only. So if we post anything on the LinkedIn page, it's only the people that have joined see it. We want to expand that so everybody can see it. And we're currently battling against that. 12 new members on the LinkedIn group since the last meeting. Not great. If you compare that to the CCUS, you're talking 400 or 500 people. Typically the geothermal even more than that. So I think we do need to switch that from sort of tight, only 2,062 members to everybody. And I think our message would be further reaching. But yeah, ongoing project to get that done. Thanks very much for everybody working on the subcommittee chairs, the board, Tendency. Robert has been a very good liaison with our Tendency company that support and built the website. Thanks everybody else. Yeah, just keep asking questions. That's all for me.
Any questions on either of those topics before you?
What did I call it? Right. He's off grid. Sorry, I couldn't find him on LinkedIn. My bad.
Yeah, thanks for these updates. So, Mark, one interesting thing was we have that slide about the clicks on the website. And as we're at this event, thinking about spreading our message and thinking about what we deliver to industry, the clicks of files on the website, I think it's back a couple more slides, forward. But that is what we're actually sending to, like that is actually getting delivered to people in terms of the files they're downloading. Because if you go forward like 1 or 2 slides, there's one interesting thing to note on that slide of files. I think the 5th most downloaded item was collision avoidance guidance from 15 years ago in Chinese, which I don't know how many folks are active in the paper reviewing for SPE community, but there's a lot of stuff happening in China, and seeing this now, it makes a lot of sense when they only refer to things that are at least 15 years old. And maybe we should rethink what messages we have available to the community to say, like, hey, should we be updating some of those types of documents to better service our industry? It was an interesting thing.
There are also maybe a couple more comments related to that thing. You mentioned peer review thing.
Yeah.
I think that was over the 10 days actual peer review. You think it's making a difference between most of the documents on that list, which are created by our subcommittees, what output of this will do. The distinction between that and something we all created, and something like somebody delivered from the one or so thank you for a personal viewpoint for that day. I think the website is you got. This shows us the people are mostly looking for. Can you go back to that slide one more time? Most important slide, Joe. I want to know why that moves forward.
He's well connected. Thanks.
Today, all people regularly or the often 78 projects we started 10 years ago. After the Congo, trying to use recommended practices for rural surveying, a lot of good work within the graph. And then over all sorts of things happened in the whole project. And I lost its momentum. Various people take part and got like good trying to take it forward. RP78 went out for balance last year, I think.
2 years ago.
And it was basically accepted with a lot of comments, technical publication with a lot of comments that we had to do. I think it was something like 300 comments. We've got rid of about 12 of those now. And I think one of them was doing the loading himself.
Open the browser.
So we're starting to constantly
Would you mind?
after a dozen of it or so.
Send this now. CWSA.net. Very rare I get to do this.
They're over there though.
That's good. We are actually moving up forward.
Thanks, Andy. I've just got another sort of bombshell. Koinoi, again, he's pretty good at being direct and said, oh, by the way, Phil, 4 meetings ago, you said you're not a standards body. We're not a standards body, of course, but we do need to say that. However, if you look at our constitution, there's standards 3 times in it, or the word standard. So maybe we need to look at that and just clarify it's a standard way of doing work, communicating, but it isn't the standards body. Just in case that could catch us out. He's got a good point. And I think out of time. Any more questions? Give me a buzz. Talk to me later today or email. Join this group, please. We'll get 30 people on the first meeting, and then 10, and then 2. Typically, I need people that can go through the process thoroughly and consistently. So it's a bit of effort. It'll be Houston-friendly time, but we really need to get that done. And me doing it on my own is dangerous. Yeah, we need a good cross-section of people to peer review it.
All right, thanks, Phil.